Welcome back to another episode of Aunt and Andrew with Family's Everything.
Until it's not. Hi, Andrew.
Hi, Aunt. I just talked to Aunt for like an hour and 20 minutes before we
He
got on
did.
about
He
like
did. But
everything under the sun.
everything under the sun. I think before we start talking about this episode,
Yes.
let's send out good vibes to
To Teddy
Teddy
Melton. Yes.
Mellencamp, who had brain surgery this week.
Yes.
A lot of people are thinking she had brain surgery. No, she doesn't have brain cancer. She has melanoma that is spread to her brain.
It's really bad.
She's bad. Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
I just like I want to think optimistically, but it's
Yeah, good luck. I mean, there are a lot of things they can do for it now that they couldn't do just a few years ago. But if you go and look on her Instagram, you can see some of the melanoma cancer removal she's had done in
oh
her
yeah, she's
life.
been very open and vulnerable.
Very open.
And I
Check
will
out
say
her.
about her and Tammy Sue's podcast, they're very
Yeah.
intentional. They do lots of copper tone ads
Oh,
for sunscreen. She's a great
yeah.
endorser for them.
Yeah. Yeah.
I will say the masshole, because we're in Massachusetts, of the week is her former maid who decided to come out against her on social media the day of her surgery, saying that she treated her poorly and didn't pay her enough.
Oh, that's horrible.
I know.
I mean, that's horrible. But it was interesting since we're talking about Beverly Hills and her and
Yes,
Kyle. She's been living with Kyle.
I know. Yeah, I saw that.
And I guess she's having a lot of pain, they said initially. So, I wish her the best.
I
Not a
wonder if there's gonna.
fan.
I wonder if people are gonna start any thruple rumors between Teddy, Kyle, and Morgan Wade.
Oh my
Because Morgan went to the
God.
hospital too with
Two.
Kyle.
Oh,
They're
well, I'm sure
friends.
they were all
That makes
friends.
sense.
They're
They kind of all
friends.
look. I hate to say
Yeah.
it. When Kyle and Teddy wear their hats and they're in their workout clothes, they
Yeah.
could give some let's be honest vibes.
Listen, she had to cut her hair and everything. It all
Yeah,
came off. She Instagrammed it. I give her a lot of credit to live a brave life so publicly.
yeah, because she knows that it's
Mm.
showing people. It's just one of those where like I used to tan all the time. Thank God. I
Well,
don't even like a tan anymore.
she's always been an accountability coach, and I just want to give good vibes. I hope she gets
No,
better. I
but I'm just
really
saying,
do.
I like living in Southern California, going to the beach all the time. Like I used to go voluntarily to a tanning bed, and like
I
someone
did
said that
too.
recently, where they were talking about like, um, someone that said that it was like a question in the media in some way. It might have been political. I don't know. Like they were like, you felt this way 5 years ago. What do you think now? And the girl was like, I also used to go in tanning beds.
Yeah,
Can we
right.
not like live
No,
and
that's true.
learn?
I
It
did
wasn't
too.
something controversial. It was just more like it's a big thing. So if it shows anyone anything, get out of the tanning bed. And if you go to the beach a lot, even
Yeah.
if you want a good tan, like just make sure that you like it's go out in the sun consistently. Don't think you're gonna fast track it because that's when I used to get burned on my nose. Remember that? Ooh, so terrible.
All right. Well, this was, you know what? How many years has Sutton been on? About four, I'm gonna
Maybe
guess.
a little more, maybe five.
Four or five. Okay.
Before we talk about Sutton, though, can we just talk about how Avi really tried this episode?
I mean, he did. He wanted poor Reba to go change. She was having none of that.
He has like
Cut the
inside
fuck
jokes where he
off.
thought with Garcelle, like it seems like they must have like I always thought like
It was good relief because it was
I
a
have
little
no, I
tense.
really think Sutton loves him.
How
Like
can
that
you
Sutton
not?
and
I love
Avi have a
him.
really great relationship.
Yeah.
And I say this just because like
He's so nervous
my
though.
former boss who was Jill's manager, they had a really like relationship like that. Now, Darren, well, his name, I don't think he likes his name to be mentioned.
Okay, so
Um,
don't mention it.
he wasn't performative like Avi was on camera.
Right.
He
Yeah.
wanted to, I think, probably wanted to be on camera more for business opportunities, like because he wanted to represent
Gotcha.
more people
Yeah.
in the
Well, this
world.
is Hollywood,
Avi,
and
like Avi's
Avi
not going
is
to be anyone else's house
definitely
manager. He's involved in the collection too. Well, oh, sorry, the capsules.
capsules, which I thought was sort of interesting name. I Avi's everything.
Well, just because of his weight loss, he's everything.
It makes him even better, but when he was
Well,
like,
just
"Well, I
because
haven't
he's
set
so
the table
different.
yet because well, I'm not getting involved. She's got to control the table." You know what I
Yeah, I
mean?
guess, but
Every
like,
little thing, even with Garcelle, got it like, yeah, I get it. Don't do the table until Sutton comes down.
I also don't believe Reba's racist. I don't.
I I'm gonna put Reba in this category.
Okay.
Two things with Reba. I don't think she likes anybody.
Yes, first. Yes, that's what I was.
Okay, first and foremost, I think if she likes you, I don't even think she likes that guy, Jim, John,
Well,
whatever
I
his
think
name is.
she's never gotten over her husband's death.
I had a different thought
Okay.
on everything. My thought is that her and Sutton's friction has always been that the husband preferred Sutton. Sutton is the only daughter. I think he loved his daughter, maybe more than his wife.
You know that client of mine who I just had dinner with his mom and
Yeah.
that's
Okay.
exactly the dynamic in there is
Oh,
when
okay.
his parent
Well,
passed.
my opinion was like that the mom has always been jealous of the relationship
Yeah,
Sutton had with her father.
that's exactly it with this that I was the other thing.
Yeah. And so it has spilled over into their entire existence. You know, some moms are jealous of their daughters, especially if they're prettier, wealthier, smarter, all these things. I happen to love the fact my daughter is smarter, prettier, more successful, and everything else. I
Probably
love
not
that.
wealthier than you yet,
She's got time.
but potential.
Um, but I love that my daughter is succeeding
Yeah, of
so
course,
much.
because
But
you wear it
not
as that
all moms
you look at it
do.
as you look at it
My
as
success.
I
Like
created like she came
I
from
did a good
me.
job on her. Yeah.
Well, you're also realistic. You and your husband were her teachers, her life. Like you
Yeah,
were her
yeah, yeah.
mentors.
But
You
a
were her.
lot of moms, I know a lot of
Oh, I
moms
know, yeah.
who are in competition with their kids and
Do
their
you think that's also
daughters.
about when like their mindset when they have their kids, or does that develop over time?
No, I think that for whatever reason, it could be their own experience. Maybe their mom.
No, I get that's what I'm saying though. Do you think that it starts before someone's born? Do you think that it can develop over time of them vicariously living through their child, or in your case, just wanting to raise a human and being a parent and having immense
Well, no,
pride in their
I don't
child?
think it necessarily has to do with a mother and a daughter. I know people who don't want their kids to succeed. They like the idea that they're better than their
Oh.
kids. I don't, I mean,
Oh.
yeah, I know that's strange to us. We can't
Oh, I thought
understand
you
that.
meant more of like you're not
But
like
I
there's
don't
parents
think
that
it's just,
vicariously live through versus parents that like just support and are proud.
I mean, I think with the mother daughter, it has more family
Yeah,
dynamics.
yeah, yeah.
But there are a lot of fathers who are in competition with their sons
Yeah,
too.
yeah, I get what
And
you're
the
saying. Okay,
mother
so you're saying
prefers
more
the
it's like, yeah.
son to the
So
husband or
that's Reba.
whatever.
Because if
Yeah,
you
I
look at
think,
Sutton, she has everything that her mom probably wanted in life.
yeah, and I mean, like their house was adorable. They grew up in it. Looked small, but it was huge inside.
Yeah.
It was like an optical illusion there.
Hmm.
I think that the mom has always been, just my opinion, a little bit jealous of Sutton because of
Hmm.
Sutton was close with the father.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense.
Yeah. And that's why, but I think the mother is the way she
And
is.
that's
But
probably
I think
why.
also gonna go on the record as saying I think the mother's probably maybe not a very good therapist.
Oh, I was about to say, like, the mother's a therapist, like, that just shows you, like, I just, again, like, it is that blew my mind. But I'll also say that I hear what you're saying because the other part is that if Sutton's mom, if Reba and her dad weren't like maybe he opened up more to Sutton and that's why Sutton knew more about like what was going on and cared about him and then the mother like and Reba felt like like because she didn't have that emotional connection it was harder for her to understand what was going on but then as his wife she should have been the one to make sure the gun wasn't in the house and all that stuff,
And all
right?
that
It's
stuff,
like she
right?
got blamed but she also didn't have that connection and then you have Sutton who's like had these like more like emotional moments with her dad closer to the end of his life. I can see that resentment in a way of like it's just yeah, I hear what you're saying. So it's less
I
jealousy and
think
more just like
sometimes too it can be is just my opinion. I don't have any Sutton has
it is our
idolized.
podcast, so it
It
can be
is,
your
I know,
opinion.
no, but I don't want to belittle anybody's
Yeah.
mental health issues. I think Sutton has kind of put her father on this great big pedestal because he's her dad. And the mother is probably like, yeah, I knew your father. It wasn't all that. And
And
that can,
also, you know what, too? I bet her mother, because I bet her mother has people that, whatever, they come
yeah,
to her, they
yeah.
talk about their problems, they may go on some medicine or whatever, but they're not all committing suicide either. So I'm sure that her
Well,
mother,
there
in a
could
way,
be some
too.
failure aspect
Of
in her
course there are.
mind.
There
Yeah, I
is,
didn't
might
think
be. They're
about that till
also
just
not
now.
just about herself, but also about him. She may also be like, well, you know what? I told him what he should have done, and I gave him the advice he needed, but I wasn't going to be his therapist because I was his wife. But he didn't take advantage, and I know how those things work. So there could be some
Yeah, that
resentment there
there's a lot
too.
of complications
Yeah.
there when you have a
Which Sutton
therapist.
doesn't know, maybe the conversations that Reba had with the dad
Of
privately
course,
to
right.
keep things in confidence instead of
Hmm.
telling everyone. And Sutton may be like, well, mom, you could have helped him and you didn't. Whereas she's like, Sutton, you have no idea how much I tried, but when you're, belittled and told, no, you shouldn't do this, you shouldn't, like, no, you don't know what you're talking
Yeah,
about,
yeah,
yada
yeah, yeah,
yada.
yeah. Yeah, because nobody really knows what goes on in a marriage
Totally.
except those two people. They're
Do you
the
know what I
only one.
realized? Garcelle isn't and it was kind of refreshing. I think we all, whether it's in the media and politics, other shows, have seen how some people would have taken Reba's
Yeah, she was
behavior.
lighthearted with
She
it.
didn't get race baited by it. And
No,
I think that, like, one of two things are true. Either production manipulated what we saw to be
I
a little
believe
bit
that could
more
be. Yeah.
prickly than
Hmm.
it really was. And maybe those were the most prickly moments that they inserted into what we saw.
Yeah.
Or Garcelle is such a good friend and knows what was going on with Sutton and her mom that she just was above that. And it's much different when Dorit, after multiple seasons, is making you feel like she's not taking into account your lived experience versus meeting someone's mother who's elderly, I guess is different.
Yeah.
But we
But
know
this,
woke people that would have gone crazy. And I just give Garcelle credit for not distracting from
no, no, no,
Sutton's
she
moment.
didn't. Yes. And not only that, this was Sutton's episode.
Yeah, and bravo too. Good for you for not making it about anything more than that either. Like you tried, but Garcelle didn't take the bait.
Well, not only that, but like that's why I was started with how many years has she been a housewife? And she's been
Yeah.
on about, like we said, 4 or 5 years now.
We also
This
have to
was her episode.
And also, it was in chronological order of like, I think production was like, all right, Kylie, you have to go talk to Reba. Then, okay, Garcelle, you have to go talk to Reba
Yeah.
because there was the overlap of Kyle then going to get ready and Kyle being down or Garcelle being downstairs. And then
Hmm.
you heard Reba say, oh, I guess we're going to be going out there to talk or something because she's
Yeah.
not on TV.
Right.
So she
Right.
repeated what the producers probably told her. So it also, the comment of that's not your business, it could have also been build up because even though Kyle's scenes seemed really like all just like fun and
Lighthearted.
games,
She
light.
went right,
She might have
right.
asked a
Yeah.
couple questions to Reba too and said, I lost my mom when I was younger. And
Hmm.
she might have said that as well. And they might have just manipulated it to kind of maybe get the social, like this is what we have to remember as viewers.
Right.
Bravo is, I don't think that Bravo, because they know that they have people on different sides of aisles, different races watching, they're never going to be bold in their stance, but they are going to
No,
like
they don't. But we
create
don't, I
they're
don't
gonna
watch
create
them to
no,
be
but I
bold.
I know, but I think that they're
Need a
gonna
break.
I do think they want the undertone and the commentary on social media to also go in different directions because that builds the show's
Oh.
popularity.
Oh,
If
okay.
someone
Maybe.
sees a tweet of like, oh, Reba could got race baiting Garcelle, someone that doesn't even
I
watch the
didn't read any of
Housewives.
that.
No,
Yeah.
if that was said, someone that doesn't watch the Housewives, but maybe is in the whole culture war conversation, may go and watch that episode just to see it. And that's why I think Bravo normally wants that. So I give Bravo credit as well, because even though they might have like made Kyle's moment look a lot more like PC and just light, and then maybe Garcelle's be a little bit more intense, it's still because I don't think Kyle or Garcelle had that intention and Reba
Mhm.
didn't like it wasn't that way that they couldn't really manipulate it. So it was good. I thought it was good.
Yes. And this was almost a standalone episode. If you'd never watched The Housewives, you could sit down and watch this and kind of understand what was going on.
Totally. What did you think about Bose's daughter? I thought that was super organic and I give her so much credit.
Yeah, I give her so much credit. Well, you
Because
know what?
Bose,
I've
you could
I've
see
seen
Bose
them
was
on
surprised.
Instagram and they are like really doing well with her house burning down in Malibu and stuff like that. And the daughter is very mature young lady.
We have to remember that like kids of like the same way that a child of like a broken marriage, divorced family,
Well, her father died.
I know. That's why I said the
Okay.
same way. That leads on
Right.
to the next sentence was going to come in.
Yeah.
Of like losing a parent. sometimes that can be catastrophic for a child and they can go in a direction of just having a lot of problems. It can also work the opposite, like when there's, especially when there's death involved. Like I envision like, knock on wood, but you hope like there's a chance that like Kobe Bryant's kids have a lot of gratitude for like life and just like understanding how precious it is. They've lost a sibling and the dad and him. That could also have been Bose's vibe with her daughter growing up, where like I think everyone knows like Vanessa Bryant doesn't bring them around a lot. They're not out in the
Hmm.
public that
No,
much.
they
Like
shouldn't be.
she's
Right.
focusing on making sure that this doesn't ruin them
And
because
you
it
know what?
could.
They shouldn't be because what have they done in life
Nothing.
except
They should live
win the
normal
sperm
lives.
pool? I
But what,
mean,
yeah, no, what I'm saying is like that's what I think it is that like Bose has a big life and like, yes, has money. And so does like Vanessa Bryant clearly is like a famous widow and has a lot of money. But the person that, like in their case, it could be even harder as life gets more because the person that made the money isn't even alive. And like, so I feel
mm,
like Bose is like, it for her, it's different, but it's the same thing. It's like, you can tell that she's instilled so many good just values in her daughter, but also that she's never like it's like there's that phrase of like life happens to you or life happens for you. Like they've clearly taken this approach with her dad and Bose's husband passing as this opportunity to be very close, to understand that they only have each other, but and
right,
less around we were cheated out of time with your dad and
right.
more around let's value the time we have together,
Yeah.
right?
Well, as the mother said, death is final,
How did you feel?
and it's true. It's
How did you feel in going into the house when Sutton was talking about her dad and I'm like not gonna cry, but just like how did you feel about like when she was describing things like I just thought of your dad a lot, like of just little things that he
well,
did.
he didn't kill himself,
No, no,
but
no, no. But
I
little
will
things when she was
say,
describing
I
the
will
things he did.
say that um, watching it and talking about the house and different things. I thought I would love to go into my parents' house, but I know the people don't take care of it because
That,
I've seen that.
but
Sorry, they
no,
don't.
no, I know.
And
I don't
so
think
I
they're
would,
listening.
I know, I don't think so either.
And if they
But
are good, take it as a hint.
and so I thought, oh, wouldn't it be nice to have somebody that really took care of a house, and because that house looked
And
great,
you could tell they were just so willing to show it. But I just, again,
show it and share it.
it
And
made me
I would
realize how
love,
healing it can be when you talk about things though that you
right.
miss.
And I thought I would love to go into my parents' home and say, "Oh, I remember this. This is where the tree was at Christmas and stuff like that. Or this is where
Yeah.
my father sat.
Well,
That was
maybe
his
it'll go on the
chair."
market at some point and you'll be able to.
I have to do
Um,
the whole thing over because they ruined it.
yeah,
But I
exactly.
thought, isn't it lovely that those people have taken such good care of
And
that
maybe it'll go on the
home?
market again, and someone that's always dreamed of buying it can buy it this time because, they were cheated out of it the last time. Go buy it, girlfriend. Go
Maybe.
buy it.
I want to tell you, I want to change subjects a little bit
Yes.
so we
Oh
can
no,
get
I
to
just want
some.
to say though, because
Yeah.
you detoured on the emotion.
Okay.
Acknowledge what I'm saying. When she
Yes.
was saying some of the isms of her dad,
Mm.
it just I say this to our listeners because we do it a lot about your mom, my grandma, my oma.
Yeah, but we have a
We
grandfather
don't
too.
because our
Yeah.
your dad had Alzheimer's and like we
Right.
grieved it slower, like it was more grief while he was still alive that we
Yes.
had.
Agreed.
And I want to go backwards and I need to start. I'm going to do it myself. And so I'm going to challenge you to do it too. I want to try to talk as much about him as I do her.
Okay, that's fine. I have no problem with that. I could talk
No, I
about
know you
my
don't, but it's
dad
like,
all
you know what it
day.
is? When I saw it on TV, it was like a light bulb went off because it has to be an active practice. Like if
Yes,
not,
that's a nice idea. I actually like that. This is a therapy with
no,
Aunt and
it's good.
Andrew.
But
No,
it's to
it's
our
good.
listeners too.
It's
Like
true.
if you
Yeah.
wanna like because if not, I think it sometimes hits you. But I found when I started thinking about my grandfather in that moment, it was like in a way, obviously he's not here. It's been a long time. And even before that, but it was one of those where I was like, oh my God, that made that better. Like I remember things more vividly. Like, and you only remember things when you really talk about them.
Yeah, of course. Of
So,
course. Now, but a lot of people aren't going to like this, but the mom is the fabric of the family. So
oh
it's
yeah.
natural to talk about the mother more. It just is. The mother is the glue that keeps the
Oh,
family
trust me,
together.
Sutton's gonna be in that, and Sutton's gonna be in that boat. You don't think they're gonna have so much to talk about Reba about when she's no longer here? And her dad has a
Oh,
sexy, in a grand scheme of things, like I say sexy in a horrible way, but you know what I'm saying? Not just like a died in their sleep story. He killed
Yes.
himself. And they'll still talk about Reba more than him.
Yeah. Well, you know what though, man,
She's a loon.
Avi is the manager of operations. I mean, he picks you up, he walks the dogs, he sets the
Oh,
table,
by the
he
way,
picks out the clothes.
they did anyone catch the production problem?
No, what was it?
So on the you know how this was
I
a
was sick
two-part in
this week.
Augusta?
Yeah.
Two-part in Augusta? The first episode they shows Avi picking them up at the airport from their flight. But then
Correct.
on this episode, we see Garcelle and Sutton in first class with the dog.
All right, so what was that?
They all flew on the same flight and then they pretended that Avi picked them up. Maybe he went and got the rental car with the dog and then came around and picked them up.
Oh,
Then
they
he
made
went
it
with
seem
them.
like he
He
picked
didn't
them
go
up, but he was
early.
in the car.
He didn't go early.
Oh, he should have. They did make it seem like he went
But the dog was
early.
in first class on the second
Absolute
episode. So clearly the dog didn't fly with Avi. He flew with them, meaning Avi flew because the dog was walking around
with
before they came
Avi.
around. Yeah.
Maybe they sent him off to relieve the dog when they got there.
I don't know.
Who
Maybe.
knows? But you're right.
Let
That
us
was
know in
a
the comments what you
yeah.
think.
What you think now? Avi does always look confused and frazzled, though, doesn't he?
Well, I asked my dad about this before we recorded about grits because he like loves grits and like his
Yeah.
grandmother made them. My grandmother, his mother made it for him all the time. He said that like grits are really hard to make, like even when you're serving them fresh. And like he just was like felt terror. Like when I told him the whole story, he's like, "Oh, the poor lady who lives in the South." Not that he knew her name, but he meant Reba
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
Sutton. He said that the other two probably would be like, "Oh, these are good and salty. These are yummy." But like,
Yeah.
but maybe I don't know. Like,
Oh, in other words, you're really judged by your grits.
no, grits can just are not something where that you can like there's not ways even at like when you're serving grits like in like a big banquet like area or like at a conference where there's a buffet or something like that, like whatever.
They can't be good.
Yeah, like you
Mm.
when you're at like a breakfast buffet, like an all-inclusive or whatever, the eggs can be are watery because they want them to last like 30 minutes and that same thing. So the water eventually goes away. With grits, it's hard to do that. Like just can't do it like that. They gotta be eaten right away. That's all I'm saying.
Oh, okay. So the fact these were good must have been good.
I guess, or they maybe weren't. Who knows? Like,
And you know what? You could tell a lot about the mom because she was like, the Sutton said, we make this meal every Christmas Eve. And even though my father shot himself in the head the day before, we still had to make this because this is what we do. And that's just that
generation.
generation.
Because I hate to say this, your
My
dad would
mom
never
would do the
kill
same
himself.
thing. Never, ever.
He loved
Right.
his life too much.
Yeah.
At all costs. It could have been,
Yeah.
he
Yeah.
went through the worst of the worst.
Right.
And that never happened. And but if that happened,
He'd
or
be
even
like,
doesn't matter, just any death. Just death. If it was 2 days before Christmas, your mom would have wanted what she wanted for dinner the night of Christmas.
yeah, she
Would
would have.
not have been singing we rocking around the Christmas tree, but she would have been eating what she wanted.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree. And that's a generational thing. I want to add
She also loved to eat.
she did like give her a minute. 1-800-273-TALK is the suicide prevention. Now
Yes.
let's go to something a little bit more, even though this was Sutton's.
Oh,
This was
yes.
all about Sutton.
Or it.
When Dorit
And
said
Erica and Bose.
when Dorit said that PK was being nice all of a sudden.
I did
The-
not think that it was a strategy.
Oh, without a doubt.
I
I know
didn't. I
too
just
many
thought like
guys
he
who've done
realized
it.
he's being an
They
ass
get
now.
mad, and they leave and stuff, and then they're like mad at you, and then somebody says to them, "Oh, you better be nice because she's coming after everything." So I do think it's a strategy. I know guys who've done it. Don't fall for it. If they hate you and they're
I love
nasty,
also
and
how
then they're
Bose and Erica,
nice.
like you could tell that Bose and Erica, like she probably knows because she's probably, I hate to say this, but let's call it what it is. Bose probably worked around more men in the C-suite than women,
Yeah.
of course.
Mhm.
She probably saw it from the opposite direction. A wealthy guy in corporate America
Yeah.
that's picking up all the attorneys around town, retaining them all so that
Yeah.
the woman doesn't have the support.
Yeah.
And she probably didn't hear it blatantly because she's a mother and a woman and they wouldn't have
Right.
wanted her to know. But it was her just being observant. Whereas
Yeah.
Erica knows also from just Tom being that person and being in the legal scene and then going what she's been through. So they're the best because I also hate to say this. Kyle, I hope you watched that scene. That's all I'm going to say. Now it's a little different because Kyle
It
and
is a little
Mauricio,
different, but PK and Mauricio are living their best lives
they
right
are.
now. I
They are.
mean, and that's the hard part,
Let's
especially
also call it
when
what it is. Mauricio has a lot more money to make.
oh, a
They
lot more
also have a
money.
lot more money than PK and Dorit
Yeah,
do. And I
totally.
bet part of Mauricio is like Kyle's working, her career's doing better than ever been. My career is blowing up. Really, we
The
wouldn't
kids
need
do great.
really each of them could be given 10 million right now, and the amount of money they're going to make in the next 10 years, they'd be able to probably turn that into an up to 50 each if they really wanted to. Now Kyle wouldn't be able to shop like she did, but I'm just saying like they don't their money is
I
more
think they're worth like
generational.
100
The other thing
million.
is that it's different. Like PK
That's
needs
what I read.
money to
Oh, PK
survive
needs
and live.
money. Yeah. Yeah, but PK
Dorit,
was nasty this week on social
I
media.
get it, but Mauricio and Kyle's money is not a money more between the two of them. It's generational money for their daughters.
Oh, yeah, without a doubt.
So it's like they're not
I
fighting over
mean,
the
they
money
have
because
the
it's
whole
going to their daughters.
business and the whole bit. Yeah. I still don't think
It's
they're ever
why they
getting
may also
divorced.
not get remarried either because it's a lot of money for four
Why
daughters.
would you get remarried?
But I'm just saying for four
Nothing
daughters,
good
like
would
a
come of
new
that.
wife for Mauricio coming into the scene would really complicate money.
Oh, yeah, yeah. No, he doesn't want a wife. He had a wife. If he wanted a wife, he'd be married to her. No, he doesn't want a wife. He
They
just
maybe have
wants to be
already even
single.
talked about let's date for a few years, get it out of our system, and hopefully we then come and spend our older years where life gets harder together.
Yeah, I can I told you, I never see them getting divorced for whatever reason. I hope I'm wrong. I know, I hope I'm right.
Who's
I
your meth?
don't. Oh, well, Sutton in a way, though it was cathartic.
Yeah,
Um, uh, she's sort of a mess. I think I don't know. You know what? Did she ever address the fact if she had therapy after her father died?
no,
Yeah, because I think there's still a lot of healing there.
yeah, I agree.
And it's been 20 years.
I know, I know.
But it was a great episode. I enjoyed it.
I
Maybe I
did too.
shouldn't,
I did
but
too.
I did. I thought it was, I wish we had more episodes like this.
Totally, totally, totally. Well,
But I
guys,
like
love
when
you.
they fall down and get
Follow
drunk
us,
too.
subscribe us.
Leave a comment.
Love ya.
All right. Bye.